The Senate Finance Subcommittee on Social Security, Pensions, and Family Policy will come to order. I thank everyone and welcome everyone to today's hearing examining the importance of paid family leave for American working families. I recognize distinguished colleagues with us, Senators Ernst and, Gillibrand not here yet, but will be. I also welcome Ms. Ivanka Trump, advisor to the President, and a fervent advocate for children and working families. Pleased to chair this hearing, and I thank Ranking Member Brown and other colleagues for joining. After Senator Brown and I make opening statements, we will proceed with two panels of witnesses. Two Senate colleagues will give statements on the first panel, followed by a second panel of experts for their testimony and questions from committee members. My statement begins now. Working families are the core of our social fabric and economic success. American workers have increasingly felt good about their prospects. A recent poll shows economic optimism at a 13-year high. Yet some families have been left behind. For nearly a decade, wages and growth have been stagnant, healthcare and education costs skyrocketing. American families expect more. Over the last 2 years, I've worked to help families get more money in their pocketbooks and better benefits to navigate the ebbs and flows of life. Many families in my home state of Louisiana are seeing last year's tax cut reflected in higher paychecks. I also continue to work with colleagues on lowering healthcare costs for these families. To consider another thing which may help, today we'll examine a paid leave benefit for working families. A 2017 Pew poll shows overwhelming majorities of Americans support paid sick leave and paid maternity leave. Paternity leave and family leave also have strong public support. Yet views on the structure and funding of a paid leave program vary. By way of background, the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993 provides most U.S. workers with up to 12 weeks of job-protected leave to care for a new child or to address an illness. However, it does not cover all workers, such as some small business and part-time employees. And the guarantee is for unpaid leave. Some workers cannot afford to take time off. Most workers receive some type of paid time off for holidays, vacation, or illness, yet the Pew study indicates fewer workers have access to defined paid family leave versus other types of leave, and paid family leave is rare in lower-income households. Now, there are three reasons to support paid leave for workers. I mentioned three. First, improving health outcomes. I'm a doctor. I'm concerned about infant and maternal health. At 6 per 1,000 live births, infant mortality is higher in the United States than in 25 of 28 other developed countries. A recent study reports that if a new mother takes paid leave, readmittance rates for her and her infant decrease by 50%. Second, helping families manage work and home responsibilities, particularly for lower-income workers. The Pew study reports among individuals taking family or medical leave, only 38% in families with incomes less than $30,000 a year receive any pay. For families with higher incomes, 74% receive paid leave. And then thirdly, creating incentives to stay in the workforce, supporting productivity and economic growth. Long-term economic growth is a function of workforce participation and labor productivity. With an aging population, it is essential our workforce remains strong. A 2012 Rutgers study found that women who work 20 or more hours per week before childbirth and who take paid leave afterwards are 93% more likely to be working 9 months postpartum compared to a woman who does not take leave. Another AEI Brookings study found that work hours for mothers who took paid leave were 10 to 17% higher than before paid leave was instituted. With last year's tax cuts bill, we're seeing workers getting some help. First, the bill included a 2-year pilot program authored by Senators Fisher and King, a tax credit to employers who offer low and moderate income employees at least 2 weeks of paid leave. Numerous companies announced new or expanded paid leave programs after the tax bill passed, including Starbucks, Walmart, and Lowe's. As we shall see today, there's bipartisan interest in expanding paid maternal, family, and medical leave. I am pleased to convene this initial conversation to consider policy options and trade-offs. By the way, preserving the retirement benefits promised to American workers is paramount. Any proposal that relies on Social Security cannot weaken Social Security and ideally strengthens. The 2012 Trustees Report projects that Social Security Trust Fund goes bankrupt in 2034. In order to close that shortfall, benefits today would have to be cut by 17% for all beneficiaries, including those already collecting. We must address this looming crisis. We cannot let that happen. Doing nothing is not an option. Also, speaking of Social Security, another priority is the windfall elimination provision, which impacts many state civil servants. Although not directly related to today's topic, it must be included in the discussion of preserving and strengthening Social Security in the future. Again, I'm pleased to convene these panels of experts to consider policies that help working families and create incentives for Americans to stay in the workforce and help build the greatest economy in the world. I look forward to the discussion, and now I ask Senator Brown.